Welcome, everyone. Yes, I'm going to try to speak a little bit about ChatGPT from my little bit journey with it together with QA. So I'm not sure if you have followed the last couple of months, what has happened in the field of AI. It has picked up a lot. And the background to this presentation was a little bit, I was curious to see, okay, how can AI help QA in some way? So that's what I'm trying to, capture in this presentation. And yes, so let's see here. The agenda, it's a packed presentation, so I'll try to go through it quite quick. And then if you want, to have more understanding or, have some questions, feel free to reach out to me after the presentation. We can, if you have some kind of question during presentation, please interrupt me or we can take it at the end. But I'll try to go through this quite quick because there are a lot of things to cover in 45 minutes. Yes, so my name is Alexander Andelkovic. I'm working at Sidekick Health now as an engineer manager. I've been working as a QA director at King for Candy Crush Saga, where we had like 250 million players. And before that, I've been working at Spotify, securing their Spotify Connect products. Now Sidekick Health, the company that I'm at now, it's a scale-up started by two medical doctors, where they were thinking that how can we use technology to help people get better? So what we built is like a product where you take clinical treatments and digitalize them. So we have like an app that patients can use to help them in their treatment process. The companies, we have around 150 people with the headquarters in Reykjavik, Iceland, and then we have offices in Boston, Berlin, and Stockholm. Yes, that was about the company a little bit. So what is ChatGPT? For everyone that doesn't know what it is or, want to know more about it. So I'm going to explain on a high level. So the GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So what it is, it's like an AI model that's been trained on languages. And I would say the new groundbreaking advancement in AI are that people has connected the dots between language and I would say everything else out there. So what GPT are doing, or what they're doing with the ChatGPT, are that they're training this big AI model on everything that's on internet up until, 2021. So this AI model has a vast understanding of a lot of things. And it might look like it's super smart, but it is just, when you break it down, it is just aware of a lot of things. And with this language model, it is able to, when you interact with it, it's able to decode what you want it to help you out with, the answers in a way where it's trying to predict what the answer are that you want to get out of it. And it's able to do that by having this huge knowledge about a lot of different things. As an example, let's say that you want to know how to cook a dish, like a sushi dish. Then it has been trained on, sushi food and knows a lot about it. And then it can give you, if you want it to prepare like a recipe, it can, pull up a lot of different recipes from its knowledge around sushi, as an example. And so what I was curious about was to see what does it know about QA and how can QA be used for this. So I'm going to go through some kind of examples, some different areas where I thought, I was curious to see, okay, like a test plan. What can it do there? Can it, suggest some kind of strategy with some kind of coverage? Test cases. Can it create some kind of test cases, based from some kind of requirements and specification? Data input. What can it do in that area? Automation, knowledge sharing. How much does it know? And unit tests. And the last thing that has happened now, last month, are autonomous testing. It's testing where you don't need a human to help out with the testing. So I'll try to cover a little bit what's going on in that area also. All right, so let's get started. Yes, so the first example, we have like a test plan. So what I did was I asked ChatGPT to create a test strategy for a match 3 game. And then it should visualize that in a mind map format for a tool called mermaid.live. It's like an online mind mapping tool, so you can see like a mind map in your browser. So this is the question, how it looks like. First, I ask it to create the code for a mind map in Mermaid for planning a software test strategy for testing a match 3 game. Use example for great coverage. So it then goes into its knowledge about match 3 games and testing strategies, and also like Mermaid, what it knows about this tool Mermaid. And then it outputs a mind map in a code form. And then what you can do, you can just copy this code and go to this tool called mermaid.live and paste it into this window. And the output will be this mind map. And it looks like this. So in this case, you can use, I would say that you can use ChatGPT to help you out to outline a test plan very quick. And then if you want it to be more specific and detailed, you need to, ask for it in more detail. But this is just the outline on a high level, how we could use it in a QA scenario. Another example are test cases. Let's say that you want to create a test case using like a gherkin syntax. It has knowledge about gherkin. So it will, if you ask it about something, it will output it in a gherkin format, where it is, you have a scenario description, you add a precondition, you add some actions that it wants to perform, and then it will also like list the outcome of those actions. So I did ask it to, create with gherkin example tests to test a match 3 game and put it in a column in a numbered table. That was the question that I asked it. And like 3 seconds later, it outputs this list of test cases in a gherkin format that you can use to test like a match 3 game in this case. So personally, I think this is quite powerful to get you started testing things, and also like giving you ideas of different test cases that you want to test a specific function or feature. Another area where you can use it is for data input. And in this case, I wanted to generate test data for testing a login page. And the output is this. It lists different examples of input fields covering different testing approaches to test this login page. So this is also very powerful or useful from a coverage perspective, or also like a security perspective, that you can do this type of that you can get help from it generating data like this. Another example are if you want to have cover from a coverage perspective. Let's say that in this case, I asked it to give me like all combinations for testing round trip flight booking. Let's say that you want to test like a flight booking system. So what you specify are the different traveler types, and then the different traveling classes, and then different fares for those travel classes. And then what it does, it outputs this list where it have all of the combinations with those different types of combinations that we wanted to do. So this is something that it can also help out, so that you can increase code coverage to testing the have an increased code coverage of your testing. And you could do this in another way, the traditional way, I would say, the old way. You could use like a pairwise tool. Here's an example of one that are online, where you manually enter all of these different types that you wanted to make a list of their all different combinations that you need to test to get full coverage. And then it will output the same list. So this is like that. I would say, how would you do it before you had ChatGPT? Today, I think you can use ChatGPT to answer those questions. Another thing are automation. And so in this example, I'm using like a free API called agify.ai, and in this one, you send in a name, and it will output an age that's based on some kind of data that it has. And I wanted to use JavaScript and use specifically the fetch library. That's a library to do API communication. And then I will take the output and put it into like a test bed called CodeBen. It's like an online JavaScript sandbox where you can paste in JavaScript code, and it will run it in a browser, and you can see the output. So here's the question that I wrote that asked it for. Write an example of how you can use fetch to test the agify.ai IO API and validate that the age of a person named Alex is 46, as well as a test case that should fail. And this is what it outputted. So first it created like a test case, the code where you enter the name Alex, and then it checks that the age are 46, and then it will print that out. So this is like a positive test case. And then it created like a negative test case where you enter John as a name, and it checks towards this age 46. And because John is not the right name to get this age 46, then it will print out that, this negative test case is also passed because the age was not 46 for John. So what you can do then is you can take this code, copy and paste it into this CodePen test bed or any other development environment that can run, in this case, JavaScript code. I picked JavaScript because I think it's easier language to understand. And so I pasted in the code here, and then when you do that, it automatically runs it, and then it outputs this result. So this is like a powerful way, I would say, to test things where you have testability, or it could be like a reason to ask for increased testability in the product that you try to test, where let the product expose function features that might be difficult or tricky to test. If you can get the devs to expose that, then you can test this quite easily, I would say, in the future. Yeah. Next thing, let's say that you want to, quickly know more about some common problems testing a specific feature. Let's say that you want to test a login page. So what you can ask it for is, what's the most problems found testing a login page? And then it will list, the common problems testing a login page with a detailed description of, what the problem are. And then you can just also, like, if you don't want the big description, just want, like, get like a highlight, then you can just ask it for a shorter version of it, and it will, summarize it. So that's also like powerful if you want to dive deeper into some kind of feature that you want to test. If you want to test it even more, then you can, ChatGPT can help you out with that, I would say. Here's other examples. I will not go through the examples. It's more like to list other areas where ChatGPT can help out. In this case, it can help you to analyze code and look for specific type of errors. In this case, it's identifying that there are some libraries missing, and it's suggesting, which library and how the code should look like. Another example are variables that are not defined. It can suggest, this is how it thinks it. You can, you should update the code so it will work. Another one is like division by zero, to add like a check that you're not entering, zero data. And another one are, index out of bounds. When you traverse through like a list, then it can add checks also, so that doesn't crash. So these are things that, we can get help for free, I would say, with ChatGPT. And what's happening are that there are a lot of these development environments that adding ChatGPT support. So things that in the future that, developers and also like QA people can get help with are writing code, explaining the code, commenting the code, refactoring the code, optimizing it, finding errors, and fixing the errors. And this is like a screenshot of an example where you have a code to the left that doesn't have a unit test. And then you can ask with one click this ChatGPT plugin to add a unit test for this, for the code on the left side. And on the right side, you can see how it will look like. So this, it will do, with one click. And that was automation. And when I did this presentation, I was thinking, okay, what's next? What will come after traditional testing that we are used to? And so I was thinking from the perspective, okay, what will be the next in line for AI? And as I see it, it's autonomous testing. And what that means, it's testing where humans are not needed, so to speak, in the testing loop. Of course, we're going to be part of it to make sure that it's doing the right things. But here, I would say, are a little bit of a evolution on a high level of AI. Last couple of years, we have had like artificial narrow intelligence, where the AI has been mostly focusing on completing one task at a time. What we're entering now with these powerful language models, where it can learn a lot of tasks, how to do them, is something called artificial general intelligence. It doesn't mean that we are there yet, but I think we are seeing early symptoms of it. And the idea there are that the AI are as good as a human to perform actions. And then in the future, we will have something called artificial superintelligence. That's when the AI are smarter than humans or more intelligent than humans, where it can, we will not be involved in testing at one point in time in the future. We might be, sitting on the sideline, eating popcorn and watching it do the work. So this autonomous testing, what has happened in that area? So this is a little bit of a timeline. OpenAI, the company that has created ChatGPT, they have the current version is version 4. So this means that the AI model is larger than previous generations, and they're training GPT-5 now. So here is like a visualization of how smart or how more intelligent this model is getting over time. So in this example, Microsoft, they initiated like a collaboration with ChatGPT in August last year. And in September, they asked ChatGPT to draw like a unicorn. And every month since then, it's asked it the same question to see how much more it understands what it's supposed to do. And you can see here for yourself, the evolution of it. And this was like, 6 months ago. So imagine today where it is. But what this means are that there are things as a QA that we need to think about that would play an aspect in testing in the future, something called alignment, artificial alignment. And that's a little bit a safety function that's needed, I guess, in our mindset approach when it comes to testing. So I think systems under test in the future, things from a QA perspective, things that we need to think about, the consequences are that the things that we're going to test in the future, are we testing things where the goals are aligned with what, the product should do from a human perspective? So it doesn't create an output. Let's say that we have these self-testing systems. How do we make sure that it creates a solution that are safe for us with what we think are, valid? As an example, you have this case with, let's say that you have a self-driving car, and, what should it do if they are like a human on the street? And, should it drive off the road or try to brake, or will it drive over it? And, we need to test things like that in the future so that it is as secure as possible. So it doesn't think it's okay to do things that we don't think are, okay for us according to human values. Same thing with, the product that we're testing in the future. Let's say that you're building some kind of like a military system. It needs to be, under control, so we know what it's doing, so it doesn't have a negative impact on the society, that it's polluting things or, harming people or things that it's interacting with. So that's something to have back of our head. Same thing with economic impact. The things that we are developing in the future using this powerful AI, we will probably, a lot of jobs will, we'll lose a lot of jobs that will be like outdated because the AI will be able to do it better. But at the same time, there will be new jobs created, and also like, new challenges ahead. So that's something also to think about. And then, autonomous weapons in the future. If we don't have this under control, we don't want to have this Terminator scenario where the things that we output, and if we're not in control, that it can create, war and global instability. So that's things to also to be aware of. And also like concentration of powers. Now like the big tech giants, they are developing these AI systems. And I think in the future we need to make sure that they are, accessible by as many people as possible, so it doesn't undermine our democratic processes or some power imbalance where it can manipulate or mislead us to things. So that's something we need to think about from a QA perspective, I think, in the future. And the last one, make sure that it doesn't threaten the human extinction. That's also something to think about. So that's why it's important that we have some kind of supervision of this in the future. And the trend now are that countries are realizing that this is something that we need to regulate. So hopefully in the future, we will have standards how to use these type of systems. So I guess there will be like an autonomous software testing standards that we as QA engineers will need to, learn and to be able to use this type of testing systems. And here's an example of what's available now. Here's like a autonomous AI system called Baby AGI. I think you can just search for it on GitHub, and there are like web versions that you can try out. Just Google Baby AGI. So what it is a system where you have multiple AI that are working together, where the different AIs have different objectives and tasks. So in this case, in this example, you have a user that provides this AI system with this autonomous system with an objective and a task. It could be, test this match 3 game. And then you have this AI that will look in its memory, have I done this before? If yes, then it will try to reuse the takeaways from that activity for the current task. If not, it will add like a list of things that this is tasks that we need to try out to, at later point, evaluate, is this something good or not for completing this type of task. So in this case, after it had looked to see if these tasks exist, it will talk to another AI that will create tasks that's needed to complete this objective. It could be a mix of old tasks and new tasks that it comes up with. And then it will send it to another AI that will execute the tasks, and until it's done. It will evaluate, am I done with the objective and task that the user sent out? If not, it will continue until it's done with this. So that's like, I would say on a high level, how this autonomous testing system could look like. And the evolution of that will be, and something that are coming, safety. It will have built-in safety agents. So it will have, for each step in this system, it will make sure that the tasks that are being performed are performed in a secure manner. So that means that they will have like things run in parallel, so it doesn't get, consume all of the available computing power. It will set up sub-goals to evaluate, am I on the right track to solving this problem, whatever it is, trying to help out. And you will be able to, in real time, change the objective, and it will automatically adjust to that and update the tasks ahead so that they can solve the problem. So this is a little bit of a glimpse how these systems will look like in the future. And from a QA perspective, things for, I guess, us to think about are data privacy and security. Is this system testing things in a secure way? and respecting privacy while testing this. So these are things that we need to think about. Ethical concerns also, is it testing it according to, ethical guidelines? And is it doing it in a scalable way? And also did it interpret what it was supposed to do correctly? I think that's where we humans will come in the future to govern that this is happening in a correct way. So here is like a live demo of this type of tool. You can Google it up. And so in this case, what it's doing, let's see if we can start it. You're asking it to solve world hunger. And it should start developing a task list. So then you will have this AI that will create this list of tasks that it thinks it needs to be able to solve world hunger in this case. And then it will take the first task and try to perform it. And then when it's done with that, it will go to the next task to perform. And then when it's done with that, it will just continue until it's finished with the whole list. So this is just to showcase how it might look like in the future. This is just, we could have like a test task for it to do. And yeah, I found another example doing just that. So in this case, you're asking it to check a library and see if you can improve the library. So this is how that would look like or sound like. There is sound here, so I hope you can hear it. Excuse for the low resolution, but I think, the sound will speak for itself.
Fixing the syntax issue with the calc underscore. So we couldn't hear it actually so well.
Sorry.
Yeah, so can you please open the volume?
The volume, let's see.
Yes.
Can you hear it now? Can you hear it now?
The code in basic math.
Yes. Yes.
Evaluated, improved, and tested. The task is now complete.
Okay, I can rerun it.
Reading the basic math.py file to evaluate and improve it. Evaluating the code for syntax errors and logic issues. Improving the code based on the evaluation suggestions. Writing tests for the functions in basic math.py. Appending the tests to the basic math.py file. Executing the basic math.py file to test the code. Fixing the syntax issue with the calc underscore circumference function. Saving the updated code and tests to the basic math.py file. Executing the updated basic math.py file to test the code. The code in basic math.py has been successfully evaluated, improved, and tested. The task is now complete.
Yes, so this was like an example, like a glimpse maybe into the future. I would say the future is almost here now. I just wanted to demonstrate a little bit how things can evolve. If it's good or bad, I don't know. That's out of this presentation to talk about that. But this is coming now, I would say, and it's happening a lot of things in these areas on a day. I'm looking at this almost on a daily basis, and there are vast, progress being made in this area. So it is here and it's coming, so to say. And Microsoft, they're working on an autonomous system called Jarvis. Here's an example. I'm just going to describe it on a high level. In this case, the task is to generate an image of a girl reading a book, where her pose should be the same as the boy in the example image. And then it should be described, the new image, with a voice. So what this system are doing is first is planning the tasks that it needs to do to be able to finish this request. And then it's picking from a library of AI models, models that can be used to solve this problem. So it's using like one AI model that can detect objects in a picture, another model that can analyze poses, another AI model that creates pictures from text, and another AI model that are converting text to voice. So here you have 5 different AI systems that are working together to solve this one task. So these type of systems are being developed now, and I don't know when this is going to be available, but I guess this year there will probably be versions of this out there, and I guess this could be used in QA in the future. So I just want to showcase a little bit what's cooking, I would say, when it comes to autonomous testing. So my takeaway from this little bit of journey into ChatGPT to use with QA, within QA, I would say my takeaways are, I think initially it can be very helpful to do groundwork, like time-consuming things that we don't want to do or speed up the process, QA process. I think it can help out a lot with the coverage, testing coverage, to understand it better, and also like helping generate QA solutions, approaches for that. I think it's also can be good, inspire new ideas. When you're running out of ideas, you can ask it to suggest a lot of new ideas. I think it can be helpful there. And yes, as you saw, automation, I think that's an area where it will be coming strongly. And also like to educate us more about QA. It's like having like a QA expert at your hands that can help you, support you in your QA work. And then down the line, autonomous systems where, it will probably do the testing for us. And we will probably have some kind of governing function over those autonomous testing systems. Yes. Questions. I think we have 5 minutes left or something like that.
Yes, we have lots of questions actually. So some of them could be answered live here. For the rest of them, maybe you can type your answers on the Q&A section after that, if it will be possible for you. So I'm going to read one question. Our valuable also panelist for tomorrow, Joel Oliveira, asks, what concerns should we have when using ChatGPT or a similar AI model in an enterprise environment? Is it safe to install the unit testing plugin? Isn't that sharing our code with ChatGPT then can be used by ChatGPT as an answer to a different user?
Yes, I think that's yes, of concern that using these AI systems, we're giving up a little bit of our, control of the company data. I think Samsung had a problem with that, where they were using their engineers were using ChatGPT and they leaked classified info, and then they prevented them from using it. And I think what will happen is that this future ChatGPT systems, you will probably have like an enterprise edition where the data it's using, the company sensitive data will be treated in a secure manner. That's what I think will happen in the future, because I think these tools are too powerful not to use. We just need to figure out a way to use them so it is, used in a secure way. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, thank you. So another question is, do you think ChatGPT or general AI is better in helping testers than specialized systems?
Maybe today specialized systems has like an edge because we're limited as testers. But if those autonomous testing systems start to evolve, then I think that will surpass specialized systems in the future. I think the specialized systems will be part of we're probably going to have like an internet, QA internet, where all test quality systems are linked up in some way, and then there will be some kind of I would say you could subscribe to this. You want access to all QA systems or just specific ones, and then we will pay for usage of those systems. That's how I foresee all the QA systems will look like in the future.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, how can it be possible to use ChatGPT for test cases, scenarios, etc.? Because every product have different architect, code, UI, UX, and stakeholder requirements and quality expectations. So maybe ChatGPT can find errors, but how about defects, failures, or bugs?
I think the key there is the prompt, the question that you ask ChatGPT or similar systems in the future. So I showcase just simple questions, like top of my head questions. But I think you could ask questions more in a more advanced manner, where you can structure it up to for this task that I want you to do, this is the prerequisite that you need to follow. Here's the requirements that we have put on this, and this is the output that the format of the output that we want this is. So I think by creating questions that are, I would say, more structuring up the action that it should be performed, I think that's one way to address this.
Okay, thank you. So we have a hand raiser also, Martin Kolek. So I'm going to allow you to talk. If you have any question, please ask with your microphone or. Okay, so yes. Okay, then we are moving on to the next question from Talha Özleblevici. As you mentioned, AI systems function by being trained on a set of data relevant to the topic they are tackling. So we need to feed our AI algorithms with the right quality or volume of data necessary to use them in our application testing steps. I can see that we and companies don't have access to it, or enough quantity doesn't yet exist. In that case, how can we sure and trust that AI result will not discrepant or even discriminatory results?
One thing that you can do with AI is you can generate synthetic data. So it can create data for you that you can use to train it. So they are like, today systems where you can feed into the AI your custom data. So then you can make it perfect understanding of your product or system. So I think that's like one approach of doing this in a controlled manner for companies in the future. And there might be like two-way packs in the future. Like if you want to test for an industry, here is questions that you should train your AI model on your data so that it becomes like an expert in your systems. So I think you would probably train it yourselves to be custom for your systems that you want to test.
Okay, thank you so much. So there is another question, but I'm not sure if you have already answered it. Are ChatGPT prompts private, or do I have to use non-sensitive data in prompts?
It's not private. You should see it as an open source project. The data is, assume that the data can be accessed by, in this case, it's OpenAI, the company. They're working with Microsoft. I guess Microsoft or access to that data also, and who knows, maybe governments. So I will not, if there are sensitive data, I would be cautious using it with ChatGPT today.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, for all of this valuable information, and for being here. It was really nice to meet you and listen all of your thought-provoking presentation. Hope you also had enjoy with us, and thank you for being here again.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.